Okay, so quite a lot of people are already joined, so I guess let's start this event today. Thank you for joining. So today's EUFRAS Coffee Break will be on two exceptional advisory services who were awarded for their innovation, impact, and forward-thinking methodologies, and today they will present their advisory approaches and share practical takeaways from their work across Europe. So, hi, I am Annika Zelme from EUFRAS, and today we are organizing this coffee break with Organic Advice Network project. So today, Anna from Chamber of Agriculture of Styria from Austria will tell us shortly about the project. Then Caroline Toster from France will tell us about organic low-carbon milk experiences, and Annika Fugger from Germany will tell about Network for Community-Supported Agriculture. As always, your questions are welcome. The question and answer session will be held in the end of the event. So just not to forget your questions, type them in the chat and we will moderate the answers to those. And I guess I can tell that, yeah, we are open and can start this coffee break. So Anna, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Anita, for introducing the EUFRAS Coffee Break today and to welcome us. So also welcome from my side. I'm Anna and part of the Organic Advice Network project, which I want to present to you shortly before giving the word to the two main speakers of today. The Organic Advice Network aims to create and to animate a network of organic advisors all over Europe and to strengthen the organic advisory services. We are currently in the very half-time of our project, as it started in 2024 and will last until March 2028. The 32 ambassadors of the project consist of advisory services, research institutes, as well as umbrella organizations, such as our coordination team from iForm Organics Europe. And together we create an open network that wants to reach and connect many organic advisors. One of our project outcomes is a free online space. It's called Organic Advice Network Space. It is for advisors and advisors-to-be to connect and to learn and exchange. And via the platform, also online training courses are offered, such as the basic course. And the first round of the basic course just took place over winter. It was a 12-week program which you could join for free and learn each week about different topics of organic agriculture. Also, individual learning paths are about to start soon for advanced advisors as well. And there also exist so-called thematic networks for arables, for ruminants, for vegetables, fruits, and viticulture. It's a room for questions, for exchange, and to learn from one another for the advisors themselves, such as a forum online. And one of our latest events are this year's 16 different cross visits that we organize all over Europe, where advisors can join to travel to a different country, meet other advisors, and exchange about current topics and methodologies in advising. Yeah, there are also the 5 thematic sectors covered, and they are all available on our space. So you may take a look. They're still open for registration if you're interested in one of the cross visits to join them. But the reason why we're here today is to celebrate and to listen to our award-winning advisory services who won our innovative organic advice contest. The contest was implemented to highlight inspiring and innovative advisory services that I am very happy that we have found such great ones. Last year, when we opened the application for the contest, more than 40 applications arrived from 13 different countries in Europe. And then a two-level jury process evaluated the advisory services and with 5 different criteria. And after we celebrated them already in November in Brussels, and they already explained their models to the audience, we today want to give the chance to share the practical examples with even more advisors. So I may already give the word to our 2 winners, to Caroline, and then afterwards to Annika.
Thank you, Anna. I share my presentation. Is it okay for you?
Yes, it's great.
Right, thank you. So my name is Caroline Tostin. I'm an organic farming advisor in France. I work on the Chamber of Agriculture in Normandy. I'm very happy to be here with you today, and I would like to tell you about the advisory work I do with a group of organic dairy farmers in Normandy. Yes. Who they are? There are about 12 organic dairy farms in the group. They deliver the milk to different dairies. The farms are located in Normandy, you can see on the map, in the south of Manche department, near the Mont Saint-Michel, you can see on the picture. There are family-run farms, couple, parents and children, or individuals. On average, each farm has 110 hectares and 90 dairy cows. Some have been organic since the early 2000s and others converted more recently. So how did it start? At the beginning, it was in 2018. Before this date, they met several times a year for technical and economic training. They discussed forage balance, zoo techniques, or alternative medicine, for example. But they wanted a change. They asked for more dynamic meeting with less top-down teaching. They also wanted a new statute to better promote organic farming. At this time, large dairy farms were converted to organic. They were worried this would harm the image of organic farming. They wanted to show that their farms were responsible and still improving. They also wanted to better understand their own practices and challenge themselves. In France, there is a label called GIEE for Economic and Environmental Interest Groups. It's a government recognition for farmer groups that innovate and share their work. So we applied for this label. This recognition allows to secure funding covering 80% for coordination time. It's the same funding scheme for all agroecologic groups. The remaining 20% comes from farmers' memberships fees, around 230 to 240 euros per farm. And in addition, we sometimes use specific funds to support training days, in particular to pay external speakers. We built a project around climate change because for farmers, it could be work on many topics with this global topic of climate change. At the time, people were started to talk about carbon footprint in livestock farms. Dairies were beginning to take interest. The farmers wanted to get ahead of this, even without financial incentive. They have taken the lead on these issues. But in the same times, climate change was already affected them, especially in 2018 and 2019 with severe drought. We started with a 5 years project, renewed for another 5 years project in 2023. First, we did a carbon footprint assessment on all the farms and created individual action plan. We used the French Cap2Air method, like you see on the screen, in partnership with Livestock Institute in France. They gave us a solid basis for discussion and comparison with other farms. What was the first step to raise awareness about this subject? Then we choose common topics to work on as a group. The goal was to help everyone improve, reduce emissions, and become more resilient to climate risks. Thanks to this dynamic, we've been real progress. In the first 5 years, the farmers reduces their carbon footprint by 11%. They work mainly on reducing livestock density to improve forage autonomy, for example, lowering the age of the first calving by 2 months, and reducing the number of the replacement heifer. Extending the lifespans of grassland from 3 to over 5 years by reducing annual crops like maize and choosing better varieties. Increasing grazing area by all possible means, like to cross a trainway. Protecting soil with reducing ploughing. And planting hedgerows for shade, wind breaks, and carbon storage. We also tracked their economic performance. On average, they improved their income and becoming more efficient because they reduced their food cost by an average of 30%. Socially, they wanted more free time and a better work-life balance. On average, they increased their number of vacation days and their well-being at work, according to a feedback note. What is special about this advisory approach is that we use different methods to keep farmers engaged. We organize training sessions on soil, agroforestry, animal health. We met regularly to share experiences, especially during climate crises. And these are stressful times when farmers need solutions. I use games and facilitation tools to help them talk and take a step back. For example, photo languages to express feelings. Here, there is a farmer explained that between the intense drought at the time, financial difficulties and tension with this dairy, it felt in his mind like an atomic bomb. It is important that farmers have a space to share how they feel, not just technical issue, as is help reduce mental strain. I use also metaphor like a thermometer to measure how serious a problem feels. For example, I ask farmers to rate themselves on a scale from 0 to 5, grazing and ration management during the drought. 0 means everything is fine, I can graze normally. 5 means I can no longer graze because it's too dry, and I fed all of the ration in the broth. This exercise helps make situation more visible, identify those who are struggling more than others, and spend more time discussing the problem they face. We also use co-development session. One farmer presents a problem. The group asks questions to understand it, then suggest solution. For example, last year, we visited a farm of a new member of the group. He first presenting his farm, then explained that we would like to have more free time, but also needed to improve this economic performance. I then asked the farmers to simply ask him questions to better understand the way he works without immediately giving opinion or solution. We can see that questions starting with why do you do this or that really help challenge the farmers being questioned. At the end of the questioning, the farmers had to reformulate a clear request, give me levers to simplify my work while improving my economic margin. And the farmer then list all the ideas and advice that came to mind without filtering. They suggest several options like improving grazing management or reducing cash crops area to produce more high quality forage, or delegate grass harvesting task more, etc. In the end, the farmers say, it's amazing, even though you didn't know my farm this morning, you quickly highlighting many useful areas for improvement. I found this kind of facilitation very valuable for both the person receiving support and those contributing, because everyone can relate to the situation or the advice shared. The advisor is not an expert here. Instead, they highlight the farmer's own experiences. And we know that advice coming from another farmer is often more impactful than advice from a technician. Another powerful tool is study trips. Leaving their own farm, seeing other places and climate helps them discover new technique and reflect on their own practice. We visited farms further south where it's drier and in the eastern France where winter are longer. It's important to follow up with reflection exercise to identify what can be applied back home. At the end of each visit, we always give feedback to the farmer who hosted us, sharing what we appreciate and what surprised us. I then take time to help farmers think about what could be applied on their own farms. Often, after a visit, they say, it was really interesting, but it wouldn't work at home. However, even if you can't copy a whole system from one farm to another, there are always easy practices that can inspire change. For example, in 2023, we visited an experimental farm in eastern France. They had dairy cows as well as pig, sheep, crops, and vegetables, and they were using innovating practices such as once a day milking and calf rearing with cows. After reflecting together, farmers still took more home practical ideas like once day milking or focusing permanent grassland on dairy cows while producing food for people on arable land. Building trust and a friendly atmosphere is key to keeping the group active. They can say a lot of each other frankly and respectfully. and also listen when things are not going so well. After 5 years, I've also learned that individual support is sometimes necessary to have something supported farms in redesigning their crop rotation to reduce soil tillage or improve yields. Some farmers act on their own, but most need help to feel confident, plan, and take action. So group and individual supports work well together. Since 2023, we have been working on new topics like biodiversity, water management, energy, epidemic disease. For biodiversity, 4 farms, among them, carried out biodiversity practices assessments. There were also bird and bat count. This new topic help revive group dynamics and can sometimes attract new members. Our main focus for the coming years, this is farm succession. With many farmers changing hands, my challenge is to engage a new generation of farmers. Another special part of this advisory approach is communication. Because of the label and funding we receive, we are encouraged to share their work widely. We regularly present our work to other farmers groups who come to visit. We organize open farm days. I share our work with many advisor network, like today. We give interviews in the press, in videos, or in podcasts. It means we are creating useful content to help other farmers follow the same path. Many dairies now required carbon footprint assessment, but often, after a few years, there is little progress. With our group, we have shown that with the right support, farmers can make real improvements and benefit from them. And we have done this without selling carbon credits, which is often mentioned as a solution. We are proving it works, not because of money, but because of commitment. Is this advisory model replicable? Yes, I believe it. What makes it different is starting from farmers' needs, not from a preset advisory offer. It's tailor-made. Second, acting as a facilitator more than an expert. Being creative, trying new ways to support farmers, and introducing new technical topics to spark curiosity of farmers. And at the end, creating way to value the work done, which brings recognition and helps others move forward. I leave a slide back. I would like to say that we are engaged in the project of OrganicClimateNet. You can find this video on the website, on your YouTube of OrganicClimateNet. You have an example of a farmer's story of Etienne, who are in Brussels last November. It's end for me. Thank you for your attention. And I think the question is be at the end of the time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Caroline. So Annika, maybe you can start.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
I'm sorry, I had technical issues, but now I'm also, I hope, better online, so everybody can understand me, right? Okay. Yeah, thank you for first for the prize and also for inviting me here to this meeting. And I want to present to you now the working group and how advisory services in our network for CSAs in Germany works. So first about me, I am Annika Füger from the German CSA network. I studied cultural studies, and I'm a member of the coordination and management board, and I coordinate projects in general in our network and the international projects. But I was also active on the field in my local CSA in Düsseldorf as a team member and also working there in vegetable growing. So my colleague Klaus, who was also with me at when we got the prize, he is a long consultant in the working group that I will now present to you, but he was not able to be in this online meeting, so I will present his part to you. But just as you know, that he was also an important member of the team. Yeah. So next slide. First, some short things about the principles of CSA, because this is very important, because the CSA system, of course, also is the course or is the source for how we do our advisory service. So first thing, what is the radical new thing about CSA? It is that we bring together consumers and producers, and these two groups together form a CSA. So the producer is not left alone with the risks for farming and with the costs, but is from the start together with the consumers in one boat, and the consumers will carry also risks and costs of the whole thing, and they are together in this. In Germany, we have 3 different types of CSAs, 3 different government types. And this is also really important when doing advisory things for CSAs, because they are really different in what problems they have and how their structures are. And just that you get a short understanding how they are, I will tell you a short thing about the different types. So the next slide. Or even the next one, right? We have one type, it's the producer-led CSA. In this type of CSA, you have a farm, it's a whole entity, and this farm is doing contracts with consumers. So the farm still is a legal entity on its own, with a farmer that has everything in their farm at their possession, and this farm is making individual bilateral contracts with different consumers. Then the next type we have is a cooperative CSA. There you have the farm again as an entity and an organization, and this is in cooperation with a group of consumers that also forms some kind of organization. So the farmer or the farm does not have to have many bilateral contracts, but has one agreement with this organized group of consumers. And then the last model type of governance that we also have is what we call the core entrepreneurship CSA. And this is a model where the farm actually, as an organization, is also owned by the consumers, and where the whole CSA is within one organizational entity. Yeah, so these are the main 3 organizational types of CSAs we have in Germany. And depending on which type you are, you have often very different needs in regarding organization, communication, law, and further stuff. So next slide, please. Yeah, this is just I think you know this, but what can be produced in CSAs? Well, actually everything, but the main thing that is produced in CSAs in Germany is vegetables. So there's almost no CSA without vegetables. Yeah, the other ones are starting to develop more and more, but the main focus is right now on vegetables. Yeah, and the thing for us being in a CSA is, of course, a win-win-win situation because consumers and producers together care for, next slide also, care for a diverse agriculture. In this model, we secure livelihoods in agriculture. We really have a regional connection between consumers and producers and build up regional food supply. And in this model, you can also have more time or can have paid by the consumers that you care a lot about the soil, about diversity, about other cultivation forms. Yeah. So next slide. Because we are also here in an international exchange, CSA is an international movement, came from Japan, and late 80s, the first one was in Germany. And yeah, so that you just know about which numbers we are talking. On the next slide, you can see first, it was really only a few farms doing this. And then in 2011, we formed this network where we offered advisory service and exchange for farmers, and where we also offered materials. And yeah, this helped other CSAs that they could also start. And you see there was a rise. We are, of course, still a small number, but for us, this rise shows that this is a growing movement, and how important it also was that we founded the German network so that, yeah, farmers and consumers have a place where they can go to get information, where they can go to get advisory services, and where they can go to exchange about how, to work as an ECSA. So our organization, the network, it's on the next slide, please. With the idea of CSA, that's a lot about collaboration, a lot about shared responsibilities. We also try to organize our network in this way. So we have different circles that engage with each other and exchange with each other. We try to work on the example of sociocracy, where you will really have clearly defined roles, but still everybody gets a say and every opinion is heard. And yeah, this is like our organizational structure. And in this organizational structure, the working group of advisors is one circle that works in their own area and interacts with the other parts of the network. So the next slide. There you can see a small part of our advisors. Right now, we have around 24 members in our working group of advisors. This was a picture of an annual meeting last year. Who is part of this working group? It's very different people. It's farmers, it's consultants that are professional working in this field. There are even people who are professionals in facilitations, software experts, lawyers. So it's very broad because, as I showed you before, what CSAs need is also very broad. So on the next slide, you can see what the topics that this group is consulting on are, and that they are very, very wide. Like one column is around founding, structure, and organization. So it's often like if some farm or some consumer group wants to start a CSAs, there are a lot of questions about how to start, how to set up structures, how to do organization, how to do communication, how to do member management, public relations, but also questions about data management, IT security, And of course, in general, how to get land, how to maybe do a farm handover. So that's a broad spectrum around the founding and structures of CSAs. Then we have also a lot for running CSAs, also for the ones that are quite old, because it will pop up eventually. If you have a group of people working together, you always have group processes. Even the people who are best friends at some point might need some mediation. Then also a part is many CSAs also want to do education with children or other target groups on the farm, so pedagogy on farms. And then there's also, it sounds a bit strange maybe, but we also have a group that does consultation if there are conflicts around racism or with right-wing groups trying to take over. And there we also have like a consultation how to deal with such conflicts. And yeah, for CSAs, like the main farming consultation we leave with the other organic players, but there are some specific things that very specific to CSAs, like for example, how you do your planting and harvest planning. So how you plan for a fixed group of consumers, what you want to grow. This is a bit different than to plan if you sell on a market or something. There we do also consultation or exchanges on what methods could be done for soil fertility. Yeah. Next slide. So how does this work? So if some CSA or somebody needs advice, you can go to our website. There, all our advisors are listed with name and what their expertise is, so what they are specialized in. And then you can either directly contact them individually, or you can also try to use the broad knowledge of the whole group and just write to the coordination of the advisory board, and then the coordination is paid staff in our network. If it's a simple answer, we'll answer to it, and if it's an answer that needs the whole group, we'll forward it to the whole group, and then the group will discuss and exchange and get in contact with the person. This first contact, email, or maybe one call via phone or video, this is for free. And if it needs more time, even a visit to the farm, then the consultant will do an individual contract with the farm or the consumers or whoever had asked for help. So yeah, this is how it works. And in 2025, we got through this coordination mail 73 requests. This is what we as a network can track. What we actually cannot track is how many more requests go to the advisors if they are contacted individually. Yeah. So what does it cost? Well, as I explained, so on the next slide, the members of the working group are in the working group on a voluntary basis. And if you are getting part on the working group, you agree that you will do like answering some mails and do the short first consultation for free. And then after that, it's like on your own means to organize what you need for your service. Yeah, so the next slide. So how is it funded? Like the coordination hours and the running on the website and the IT infrastructure, this is funded through member fees that we as a network get from our members. Well, the voluntary work, this is something that the members of the working group put into the pot. And yeah, the follow-up contracts, they are paid through the CSA themselves. Sometimes in some, like in Germany, in some regions you can get funding from the state for consultants. And then we also have like a training and in-person meeting for our working group. These we try to fund through projects or corporations so that they also can meet once a year in person or get special training on CSA topics. Next slide. Yeah, this is like a picture from one, like in the past, we had, I think nearly every year, a training with the support of FIBE for the consultants. And this was also very important because it was really the focus on CSA topics. And yeah, right now we are looking for new project funds to continue something like this in 2027. So if there are any ideas, I'm very grateful. Yeah, so that's how the working group and our advisory services work. And thank you for listening. And I want to finish with one of our slogans for CSA. What it is about. It's about food losing its price and regaining its value again. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Annika. I think this as well is a very inspiring example of how advisory can work. Just to precise, you mentioned that it's funded by membership fees. Are the farmers members or the advisors who are paying the fees?
In our network, we have different kinds of memberships. So the advisors are members, the farms are members, and we also have like, as a private person, you can also become a member and support us. So yeah, and actually you have to member in our network to become a member of the consulting group. So a little bit they also pay for that, but because that's also part of our system, what you pay as a member is also on your own. You look, what can I give? How much am I able this year to give? Because we also have this principle, if you can give more, please give more. But if right now you are in a bad situation, then yeah, you can give less. So yeah, member fees are from consultants, from private members, and from farms.
Okay, thank you. I can see, Paul, you had questions to both speakers. Maybe you can
come in. Porter?
Should I come in because now my
Yep.
yes, okay, good. At the first speaker, I was curious about the organic project. Is it subjected to SCAL, which I think so, and is it maybe also contributing to SCAL regulations to be reformed in certain ways?
I don't know what it is called.
SCAL is the regulations on organic food production.
We work only on advice, not on regulation of markets, if it's a question.
Good, because in the Netherlands, when a farmer is organic producing, it has to follow all the regulations within SCAL, and our advisors also have to understand these regulations, because otherwise you can't advise a farmer to do it in a correct way.
Yeah.
Besides that, things like organic also nowadays have not competition, but a coinciding working atmosphere within regenerative agriculture, as well as nature inclusive agriculture. And those later mentioned types of agriculture are more free. They don't have these very strict regulations of SCAL. So, but in your reaction, I see that SCAL is not not understood as regulation platform.
Yeah, I will just comment in there because it looks like SCAL is a specific name for it in Netherlands. Other countries could have different kind of labeling and certification bodies. So basically, it's the question, I guess, is about, are you working with the information for certification of organics?
No.
Yeah.
It's only, it's a volunteer approach. There is no link with for climate change and all the work we do with the group. There is no link with their certification on organic. It's just organic, like a label.
I will share a link then later. Maybe you can orient this about SCAL. I was right. It is in the Netherlands it might be called SCAL, but it's a European organic farming regulation.
Suzanne, do you have any comments to this or?
Yeah, just briefly, if I may, Suzanne Pardel. It is indeed a European regulation. Every country has their own competent authority. In some countries that is delegated to private certification bodies. SCAL is sort of in between. It applies to the whole of Netherlands, but it's not, obviously, it only is in the Netherlands. And from what I understand, Caroline was saying that the farms that she works with are certified by Agriculture Biologique in France. So they are certified as organic, but her work does not concern directly with the certification. But obviously, what she does plays within the rules. So I think she's fully aware and follows the organic regulation in so far as they apply in France.
Yes, thank you for this elaboration. I was indeed a little bit blinded by the Dutch term SCAL, but as soon as I see this leaf with this green leaf with the stars, then in the Netherlands it means SCAL. Then to the other speaker, I had the question: are there also farms in Germany that are civilian owned? So a group of civilians buy a farm and they put a farmer at work as an employee.
Yes.
There.
Yes, this is also a form that we have. Then they are then often organized as association or cooperative.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. It was
This is
it
the
was
last
the
form.
third form that you mentioned in this group.
Yeah. And it's also often interesting who started the CSA. Was it a consumer group or was it a farmer or a farmer group? Because often it's also a bit different how it is then, how participation levels, for example, will be. Consumer groups started farms, often a lot more on people wanting to help out or having a certain idea of what kind of farming they want to have in their region, and are more participatory, but maybe they have more problems of setting food and getting more professional actually in farming, because of course they are the consumer group and have to do all this finding land or finding a farm to cooperate with, or but yeah.
I know of the challenge because I am one of them. But it's great to see that it is in Germany also taking a hold and spreading awareness about food. And thank you especially for the slogan, because I'm going to use it in the Netherlands as well. That's it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Ilva has also a question. Are you willing to come and ask it, or should I just do it? Okay, I don't see Ilva coming up. So Ilva in the comments has a question for Annika. Is the main organization for advisory about farming, soil, nutrients, and more for CSA in Germany?
Well, the advisory about farming, we often more say look at the organic organizations like Bioland or Demeter because they have already a lot of knowledge and their services. So we more focus on organizational and communication aspects, yes. And what our consultancy is then to say, hey, have a look here. There you can get information about organic, how to do certain things, and there or look at the courses or trainings offered by all these other partner organizations. Yeah.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or remarks and ideas you want to share? Not yet. I hope I didn't lose any of the questions in a chat. So, in today's registration, we had 108 people from 24 countries. So I guess all of them will receive the recording of this event and will be able to follow up afterwards. Yeah, I think thank you everyone for participating. Susanne, you have something else to say? Yep.
Yes, thank you. I was wanting to address a question to our French colleagues, and I was impressed by the range of different tools you used on approaching and working with your farmers. And I was wondering where you got the inspiration from to find those tools and to use them. Could you elaborate a bit more?
In my work in Chamber of Agriculture since near 50 years, I make a lot of training with other advisors, and in particular in work about reduce pesticide in another task I do in the past to reduce pesticide with group of farmers. We make a lot of training about a facilitation tool to work with farmers, not directly to count pesticide, but to explain why did he do what he do and how can we change the practices. So and I like a lot of facilitation tools, so I'm very curious about this. And in my structure, there is also people who lead this topic and who give some keys and new tools very frequently. So it's a work of more years to do this, and I like this, and I give advice to my colleagues to use also this kind of tools.
And are you aware whether similar structures exist in other countries so that consultants can learn facilitation relatively easy? They are all quite simple, the tools you use.
Yeah,
Facilitation tools to work with groups of farmers?
I don't know how it works in other country, but for example, yesterday I was in Germany for Organic Climate Net projects, and we work with colleagues from Bioland, for example, and there was a discussion about how can manage the change with farmers, and the colleagues SIF who present us tools and facilitation games. So maybe I think in some structure we can find people aware about these facilitation tools.
Well, I really hope that some of this dialogue we can get into the Organic Advice Network, because it would be really useful to share simple tools that advisors, particularly young advisors who start out and don't have a whole box of experiences to draw on. So thank you very much for sharing that. I found that fascinating.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also about, yep, Carla, you have also a question?
Yes. Hi, I'm Carla. I'm from Austria, and I write my master's thesis currently on farm advisory structures in Austria and the role of agroecology. And I was invited to this coffee break today. It was very interesting. And I have a question to Annika about especially because you mentioned um, the social advice, basically, the organizational advice you give to farms. And I think in general, that's something that any kind of farmer agricultural um, setting could benefit from. So I was wondering if there's any or if there's any will from more conventional agricultural farmers, conventional farmers to implement those practices, or if there's from the more conventional advisory systems, there's a will to collaborate with you or work with you.
So you mean if we already have partnerships or?
Yeah, or like how more conventional or how conventional farmers could benefit, or how you could build the bridge to also conventional farmers to implement those more community-orientated social ways of practicing agriculture. If there's any any project or any starting points in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah, we had now had a project where we worked together with chambers of agriculture in three federal states in Germany. And for example, I know that the project now is over, but for example, in North Rhine-Westphalia, the Chamber of Agriculture now has a person who is responsible for CSA and can be asked about this, and will, if farms have questions, knows about the system and knows where our materials are. So this is like something what we did to reach, a broader the broader spectrum of farmers who might not even have heard about the system. And what is also available for free, like on our website, there's a lot of materials for free, and we have even a whole book that you can just read and access. And what we also did, what reached a lot of I say, farms outside of our bubble, we had like, what is CSA? How does CSA work? Web seminars together with the BZL. This is a state-run information service, agrarian service on, and there we also reached a lot of farms that are not already in Bioland or something, because I would say that the organic ones, they know a lot already about CSA systems, and yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, also I still have a comment about the advisory tools. I know that in several projects, people are working on advisory tools and methods and these facilitation methods. And I know that there is a project I2Connect there used to be a project I2Connect that worked more on innovative things, and then there is Climate Smart Advisors who works on tools as well, and different examples. So as soon as you Google the advisory tools and methods, you could get some nice facilitation ideas. Also, I assume here in organic. Oh my God, sorry. on this project you are working on those as well. So someone else, Paul also mentions attractive tools, and I know that French are one of those who have a lot of experience in serious games and so on. Of course, the information is available only in French, as far as I know, at least, but you're huge on that, so it's nice that you have shared this experience here with us as well today. If there are no additional questions and comments, I would like to thank the team of the project here today for sharing your experiences with our members and colleagues across Europe. So thank you for that, and see you in next coffee break.